Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, Adventures in Infertility with Keisha. It's been a little minute since I recorded, maybe 3 weeks ago. So I just wanted to give you guys an update on what has been going on. So last time we left off, I was a few days before my endometrial biopsy and my HSN exam, which is where they go into your tubes and stuff. So I had that. My mom came with me because my husband couldn't make it. They wouldn't let him off work. So basically we got there and fill out paperwork and everything, and then they had me filled out paperwork and everything, and then we did the IV thing, and we I had to meet with the anesthesiologist because obviously I had to be under due to the retroverted uterus. And if this is your first time tuning into my channel, the retroverted uterus is what causes pap smears and stuff to be really painful, or anytime they go in there to be painful, because of the position of the cervix and how tight the uterus can be. So basically they just decided to put me to sleep for everything so they could get in there how they needed to, and it not be completely painful. So basically took me in the bag, went to sleep. Everything went well. Didn't have any complications with the anesthesia. Didn't have any. I had some mild cramping and some mild pain when I woke up, but it wasn't that bad. So basically got the results back within a few days. The biopsy was fine, so completely cancer free, praise God. And the doctor was a bit concerned because my tubes were kind of swollen, but for IVF you don't need your tubes. So he was like, we're not gonna visit that right now. So but other than that, everything else looked good. My mom told me that he definitely told her when I came out of the procedure that everything looks very good for me to be able to have children. So he doesn't have any speculations or anything that I won't be able to carry children. He's like, everything looks healthy enough for me to be able to carry children. So that made me very happy about that. So did all of that, and see what else happened. That was about it. Since then, my husband had to go have genetic testing done, because when I had mine done, I tested positive for a genetic disorder called alpha thalassemia. So basically it's like a blood disorder, where it can cause anemia, and if your baby's born with it, then it can cause them to have blood transfusions on a regular basis. It can cause them to be born early, or they can be born and die at an early age. It's a lot of stuff to it. So it's an infection of the blood, and but the good thing for me is that I'm a silent carrier of it. So that means that one of my parents had it, which I'm pretty sure it was my mom, because she had a lot of issues growing up and stuff with bleeding and stuff. So they wanted to test my husband for it, because if he's a carrier for it, then we have to sit down with a genetic counselor, and just go over the risk of a child being born with that. So it's the same thing as if you guys both test positive for if you guys both test positive for like Down syndrome or something like that. They want you to understand the risk of a child being born like that. So even though I'm a silent carrier, carry I still carry the trait. So they just want to make sure that my husband doesn't carry the trait. But like I told my nurse, you know, I understand what the medical portion is, but I believe in God, and I believe that, just because I test positive for something, just because my husband tests positive for something, doesn't mean that our children will be born with that. I feel like God has the final say so in whatever happens with this whole situation. So, even if we were to test positive for Down syndrome or something like that, that doesn't mean that my children are going to be born with Down syndrome. I'm just not I understand what the medical aspects say of it, but I just believe that God has the final say so in everything. So I'm not too concerned with me testing positive for that and then them testing my husband. So he did that like a week ago, so we're just waiting. Oh, excuse me. We're just waiting on those results to come back, and those results take like a good 3 weeks. So we are in the final stages of what we need to finish before actually getting into IVF treatment. On the 11th of February, I have to go back and get retested for the urosplasia stuff, which is, if just to do a recap, that's just bacteria in the vaginal canal that they don't really know where it comes from. It can come, from using certain soaps. It can come from, with me having the adenomyosis and bleeding all the time. It can come from that. So they just want to make sure that that's completely cleared up, because they can't proceed treatment with that, because that can cause miscarriages, that can cause the baby to be born early, that can cause infection with me even getting pregnant and passing that to my baby, and my baby being born blind or something like that. So they just want to make sure that that's cleared up before we even start treatment. And my husband has to see a urologist, so that's within a few weeks. And really good news that I want to share with you guys. If you guys remember my first video and me talking about like the different conditions that I had, one of them is that I've struggled with diabetes for a really long time. So I found out like 2 weeks ago that I am diabetes free. So from, let's see, 3 months ago when I was tested, I was like a 6.7. So now I am a 5.9, and that is within normal standards. Like, so the doctors still consider it as like pre-diabetes, but I'm considered no longer diabetic. So just want to, I definitely was like crying, like, thank God. Like, I've been dealing with this for like 5 years. So, I was very thankful that God blessed me with a team of doctors that, didn't want to just deal with the IVF portion of it. They wanted to deal with the all over portion of it. So seeing a weight loss doctor, which since we started in November, I'm down 17 pounds. So initially, I believe that that's what also brought my A1C down as well, which is A1C is, the levels that they measure how you're whether you're a diabetic or not. So went from a 6.7 to a 5.9 in a matter of 3 months. So I no longer can consider myself a diabetic, and I that was something big for me, because that was a big aspect in them even you know doing the IVF, and they're even concerned for me being pregnant was, you do not want to be pregnant and have diabetes, because that can be really, really bad for you and the baby. So definitely glad that that's gone. I still have to see a high risk doctor this week, because even though I'm a 5.9, I can still slip back into diabetes with getting pregnant, and it's called gestational diabetes. So that's definitely a concern for them. So that's fine. I don't mind seeing an at-risk doctor, because I definitely want to make sure I'm my healthiest, and I want to make sure my child is healthy. So definitely got that done. And let's see, just the high risk doctor. My husband seeing the urologist, and me making sure the dysplasia stuff is gone. So that's mostly it. Like, we just have to complete those 3 steps, making sure that everything is fine with that, and then we'll be fine to officially move into IVF treatment, which is the administering of the medication, stimulating eggs, doing the retrieval, and then doing the transfer, and then we'll be pregnant. And I did something yesterday that I have definitely been hesitant about doing. And my husband made this suggestion, and my therapist that I'm now seeing, because even though I do these videos with you guys and stuff, I still have my moments of weakness, and I still need encouragement getting through this process. And, it's just, it's not an easy process. So people that go through this stuff, like, we need somebody to talk to. So I recently started going back to an old therapist of mine, and come to find out she's been through the same thing as me. So that makes it, that makes me want to talk to her even more, because you've been through this. So they both made a suggestion for, excuse me, they both made a suggestion for me to go and purchase a baby article. So whether it's shoes, socks, clothes, pacifiers, whatever that may be, you know, purchase this as a sign of hope. Purchase this as a sign of what you're working towards and what you guys have been working hard for. Just as a reminder that eventually God is going to bless you guys with this. So I went yesterday and finally walked into the baby aisle, because I don't like going into the baby aisle. It's just something. It's just hard for me to go into the baby aisle. So I went in there yesterday and I purchased like a little onesie. And it definitely was a good feeling. And, I brought it home. I'm sorry, y'all, to keep yawning. I don't know why I keep yawning like this. I'm tired, but sorry. I don't mean to keep yawning. So, but yeah, came home, brought it to my husband, and he was happy, and we're gonna keep it as a sign of hope. Every time I get frustrated, every time I get weary with the situation, I'm just gonna hold it, pray with it. That'll just be my souvenir of hope. And I encourage more people that are going through the same situation to do that, because even though I've been dreading going into the baby aisle, when I went and I picked up the item, like it felt good. Like, man, this is gonna be me really soon. Like, I'm gonna be in here buying clothes for my boy or my girl. Like, it definitely gave me a sense of hope, and it was it was a good feeling. So I definitely encourage people to do that. Whether it's shoes or socks or anything, put it in a frame, set it where you can see it. That, I just think that's something that more people need to do. And I was scared to do it, and then when I actually did it, I was like, oh wow, I should have did this a long time ago. Like, this was a good feeling. I wasn't sad about it. Like, it brought me happiness to be able to do it. So yeah, that's pretty much what's been going on. And I we're almost there. So And like I said, anybody that's out there going through this, I encourage you to go buy an article of clothing or shoes or socks or something that gives you some type of hope to get you guys through this. Also, I want to mention, it's okay to go to therapy. Like, that doesn't make you crazy. That doesn't, I know there's a stigma out there that when you see a therapist, that means you're crazy or you're psycho or whatever. This is a lot to go through. So, don't bottle all of that in. Like, talk to somebody, whether it's a fertility support group, whether it's a licensed therapist, or whether it's just somebody that's currently going through this. You cannot keep all that stuff in, because you're going to go through moments of anger, you're going to go through moments of sadness, you're going to go through moments of happiness. Like, your emotions are going to be everywhere, and that's not healthy on your body that you're trying to prepare to have a child for, if you're not getting this out and if you're not talking about this. So, I went back and seen my old therapist, and I'm so glad I did. And I know it was nothing but divine intervention, because I didn't even know that she had went through the same things as me. And then she was also able to talk to me about the spiritual aspect in it. So, I was, I knew that was nothing but God, for us to put us, for us to be put back together like that, because I haven't seen her since like 2012. So it blessed me to be able to talk to her and to know what she went through and how she got through this, and how she's going to help me get through this aspect. So there's nothing wrong with seeking out a licensed professional getting through this. That doesn't make you crazy. That doesn't make you less of a woman or like anything else. You need to be able to talk to people to get you through this stuff. And like I said, I've linked back up with her. I've been in a fertility support group for a while, and it's been amazing to me. So, it's okay. It's very hard to talk to people that have not went through this, because they really don't understand it. And I found that out from people knowing my story, and asking me questions like, oh, well, why do you have to do this, or why do you have to that, or why do you have to, like, oh, like, I never knew this, or why is this necessary? Like, if you've never been through it, then it's kind of hard to explain, and it's kind of hard to talk to somebody and get help from them when they've never been through the same thing. So, just through this journey, get you somebody that has been through the same thing, or even a licensed professional. Like, you got to talk this stuff out, because you don't want to leave that bottled up in there, and then it's causing problems with, I mean, little do people know, like, our emotions play a fact on what our bodies are going through. Like, if I'm angry all the time, like, this is just for me in general. If I'm angry all the time, that makes my adenomyosis act up. Like, I will literally go into, like, bleeding fits. Like, if I'm overly upset, or if I'm angry or anything like that, like, it causes me to start bleeding. So, us as women, when we're going through this, we definitely have to pay attention to how our emotions are and the things that we're dealing with, and most important of all, the stress that we're dealing with. And even my doctors have stressed that to me, about not being stressed out and staying stress free and staying calm, because that plays a factor into how our bodies will work when we're trying to have children. Now, you got some people out there that they just get pregnant and pop them out like Skittles. They don't have to consider being stress free and not being angry all the time, or they don't have to consider that. But people that go through this like us, we have to consider that. So you want to make sure you're calm all the time. You want to make sure that you're not stressed all the time, because that plays a fit into how your body will work, as far as if you're doing fertility treatments, whether it's IUI, insemination, or whether it's whether it is IVF, so, I definitely, want to encourage you guys to go and talk to someone if you're going through this. And you can always comment, on my videos. You can always send me a message. You can always find me via Facebook. My name is Keisha Hurd on Facebook. I'm definitely a listening ear. I get a lot of messages during the day or texts during the day about my situation. People just asking for help or just encouragement, or anything. So I'll always be a listening ear, and if you have any questions or just want some encouragement, I'm definitely here to do that. So I just wanted to give you guys an update on everything that was going on. Just share a few encouraging words too. And as always, thank you for tuning in to Adventures in Infertility with Keisha. Stay encouraged, and please also like, subscribe, and share my videos. And yeah, like I said, stay encouraged, and the goal is to be mommies. So whether it's through IVF, whether it's through insemination, whether it's through, fertility drugs that, you guys are having timed intercourse, or whether it's through adoption, the goal is to be mommies. So, however God blesses you with your kids, I'm here for it. The goal is to be a mommy. So until next time, thank you for tuning into my channel, and you guys have a blessed night. Bye.